stepping on some of those lines, but it's making, again, for the average patient, it incredibly difficult and putting them in difficult loops to be able to get their hands on these products. And so again, yeah, Simpag keeps sort of rehashing this, but yeah, what are the options for a patient at this point in time, moving into January 2022? What are the options for a patient to access cannabis?
Well, yeah, I think that's a better reframing of the question. So I suppose then, yeah, you have two avenues to explore there. You have the legal, or I'll sort of air quote that, legal route, and the illegal route. So let's explore the legal route firstly. There is a sort of pseudo protection that is sort of created by a kind of supposed discretion that has been created by CanCard and others. Although CanCard are the only ones that have made the claim to have spoken to all of the constabularies and have an agreement with their heads of forces that if you are then in receipt of this card, it means that you have sent off to this organization, who have then contacted your GP, got access to a summary of care note, which is basically all of your active conditions, check that you have gone through with previous what's called interventions, therapies, treatments, to legitimize then your access, and then you can be basically given this afforded this protection, which is supposed to work as a tacit discretion, that if you are then stopped under possession, all of that rhymed, sorry about that, guys. If you're then caught under possession, that would give the police officer enough discretion to kind of go, well, actually, we actually should leave you in receipt of what you've got, or even take it off you, but not then give you a citation, not in any which way fine you, give you a summons or a criminal record. That again seems to be postcode lottery massively, and I'm not going to jump too much into that because I don't want to create any controversy around it, but that is the system sort of that's been created there. The other route is these private clinics, which then the clinics are linked to a pharmacy or a distribution partner. And so the clinics hire in specialists and people that can be prescribers for cannabis for certain conditions. They then run through a series of protocols. Once you've gone through the consultancy phase, as long as you meet the criteria, you can then be offered basically a list of prescribable products. This will then be delivered to you and fulfilled via this pharmacy partner. And like I said, I think there's nine or 10 maybe clinics at the minute. There's a few more planned, and several of them have become virtual clinics now, so you don't have to attend anywhere. You can just use basically Zoom calls. The pricing and the competition or supposed competition within the clinics has meant the pricing has dropped dramatically since their inception a couple of years ago, but they are still quite restrictive. There has been issues of sort of mold, contaminants and adulterants, mislabeling, and just poor quality, and patients being left several weeks without supply. Although on the other side, there have been a lot of very happy consumers, so it is seemingly an industry in its infancy and should be judged, I guess, over time, but be made to be transparent at this point so we can see what deals are being made. Because at the minute, what I've seen this year are the big boys come in and buy out people like Emac. That's now Curaleaf. You know, you've got other big boys from Canopy, from Tilray, and other smaller American companies that are now fishing around in Europe looking who do we want to buy. They want to buy their way into each national model as they emerge throughout Europe. So it's a difficult thing to access that way, in terms of you'll get kind of not what you're given. You'll get a small list to work from, but basically at their discretion. The product will then still be irradiated. For the most part, I think there is actually a couple of Israeli products that are not currently being irradiated. There will eventually be UK distribution and cultivation here, but that's still, again, its infancy because of bureaucracy around licensing. But yeah, the other side of this is the illicit side, which is you got literally the kid on a bike at the end of the street, but you don't know what that is. You don't know what you're paying for. You don't know how that product is being procured, whether that has come from a warehouse grow and scrupulous practices. You know, has it been left with mineral salts? Is it not being flushed? Is it people use petrol-based fertilizers and pesticides on it? You know, is human slavery and human trafficking being involved in it? Violence through gang distribution? You don't know any of this. You can then obviously cultivate at home. You obviously risk a much higher charge for a cultivation charge than you do for possession in the UK. But this is, again, postcode lottery. Some regions in the UK, they could come through your door with 12 plants, never hear from them again. Some places will come through you for having 2 plants, and you'll be dragged through the courts for 2.5 years, and you'll be in the paper every day, and you'll have your life smeared, and you'll lose your job. And yeah, it's a crazy system. And you could then obviously find people that cultivate, who are good cultivators. There are a lot of community projects out there, which are just some guy who helped his wife one day, and then we'll keep growing, love, you know what I mean? And they help 5 or 6 people. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of pockets of caregivers like that across this country that are not connected on social media, that are not talking about what they do because they know the risks, and they help the people they help, and they know it's life and death to them. And yeah,